and welcome to the last in the current run of Mock the Week, where over the last few weeks we've seriously weakened the coalition, massively pressurised the opposition and talked a lot about sept ladders. Tonight we'll be looking back at some series highlights, outtakes and stuff you won't have seen before. Hope you enjoy it. How has Ed Balls become implicated in the Miliband story?
Ed Balls has been implicated because supposedly he was part of the plot to overthrow Gordon Brown. With his part of, well, I'll say it again because it wasn't Gordon Brown he was trying to overthrow him.
Well, he just loves overthrowing, doesn't he?
I'll take over here. I'll take over here. If it's heavy political stuff we're dealing with, I'll take over here.
But basically, he's been involved...
No, sorry, that's good to know.
Yeah, OK, I'll get it right.
You were explaining it beautifully, I thought. Moving on, how has Ed Balls become implicated in the Miliband story?
I'll tell you.
Well...
Apparently it was the first words out of David Miliband's mouth when he heard that Ed had won the election. Yeah. Ed Balls. Come on!
Basically, Ed Balls has been implicated in the plot to overthrow Tony Blair, because he was part of this whole idea of rebranding Gordon Brown as Project Volvo, because Gordon Brown was supposed to be dull and unreliable, basically. Or dull and reliable.
Yes. Well, it was part... They did some research. The two parties did... Well, Labour did some research, and they found that Gordon Brown was likened, if you could get an object, he was likened to a Volvo, a bear, or a buffalo. And they did some research on David Cameron, and they found that he was likened to a spritzer, an Alco Pop, a BMW, or a horse.
The idea that they wanted to rebrand him because when people given these abstract concepts, they thought Gordon Brown, they think of as beer and whiskey, and David Cameron as spritzer and alcopops. Who could look at that and think that that's negative towards Gordon Brown? Hello!
Spritzer drinkers among us.
I love them. I tell you what, if it was a Campari, you'd have had my vote. The memos that this was based on leaked, right? The last time Ed Balls saw the memos, he says, they were on his desk when he was Secretary of State for Children's Schools and Families. What kind of incompetent person leaves incriminating paperwork on a desk after they've left a job? Wait a minute. Frankie's plan to oust Dara?
Never happened.
The plan was to try and make him appear more normal.
Yes.
This is the thing. They wanted to hide his exceptional school record and the fact that he excelled as a student and was fast-tracked through politics because he was a really good student and really clever. And they wanted to hide that fact and make him seem more normal because that makes him appeal to the voters, to be more normal. People want to vote for someone who's like them. I want someone exceptional in number 10. I don't want someone who's like me. I spent 2 hours yesterday trying to remember if I'd had a shower yet or not. That is true.
Sitting where I am now, I can tell you the answer for today is no.
You know the news, what's going on here?
Oh, really? They found a piece of toast with Osama bin Laden on. They would have found it 10 years ago, but it was hiding in the toaster. It definitely is him, because when someone tried to eat it, he used a Pop-Tart as a shield.
It is surely the photograph I've always wanted. It is proof that Osama bin Laden is toast.
Yep, that's what it is.
That is, of course, Osama in his heyday. Now, of course, you know, if you pull out the crumb tray and pour it into the sink, that is more what he looks like.
Jesus must be well pissed off with this. Even a few weeks ago, that would have been Jesus.
That would have been Jesus.
It's me, lads. I'm back again. I'm on toast this time.
Toast is unbelievably fickle. Toast chases trends like no other heated bread.
It's not the bread, though, is it, guys? Think about it. It's the toaster that's done that. You put the bread in the toaster. It's the toaster that's cooked his face, like Bin Laden. So it's the toaster, you idiots.
Somebody's been watching Delia Smith.
What has been revealed about elephants this week?
Elephants are like human beings. in that they flirt and they have arguments.
They flirt.
They flirt. Elephants flirt. There are elephant chat-up lines and everything.
What, you could phone up and an elephant would
No,
bellow?
not a chat line.
Erotic messages down the phone.
Not an elephant.
I think elephants are overprotected. Well, it's easy for me to say from my ivory tower.
It was worth it just to get to that joke. What has Work and Pension Secretary Ian Duncan-Smith been calling for this week?
He has said, Ian Duncan-Smith has called on British bosses to employ more British people. And the British bosses have said that they can't do that because foreign workers work much more efficiently and the British have lost their work ethic. And that's as much as I'm going to say, unless I'm on double time. And I get another tea break.
Well, as a foreigner, I'll pick up the slack then, won't I?
The only thing that gets me is I have a very left-wing and liberal attitude to Eastern European immigration. The only thing that comes to it is, though, is you go, welcome them, let them come in, but then you get refused entry to a nightclub by a bouncer from Lithuania. And suddenly your lefty attitude to immigration takes a big step to the right for the
It's not just bouncers from Lithuania who turn you away, though, is it?
well, here's the thing. Every bouncer on every nightclb door in Dublin now, it seems, are from Eastern Europe. And Eastern European bouncers, they're hard-working, they're conscientious, but they don't watch Mock the Week, right? It means nothing trying to get into a nightclub in Dublin. And then you hate yourself for the stuff you come out with. Lefty liberal going, what do you mean you won't let me in? We let you in.
You don't mind having, like, efficient cherry pickers, but you don't want, like, an Eastern European traffic warden, do you? Like, I gave out 500 tickets this morning. I gave out 500 tickets this morning. I need to drink some blood.
What does he go,
I grew up on Dracula films.
fucking ticket.
You cannot park here. No parking in this area.
Sorry, is that Dracula or Bob Dylan?
You cannot park here.
Presumably the traffic warden goes, and why are you parked here? And the driver goes, I couldn't get in the cherry!
Back to Cover Your Captain. Our next round is called Newsreel. We play in a recent piece of footage featuring people in the news and ask Hugh to suggest what might be being said. This week's clip features the royal family.
Oh, my God, my arse has gone to sleep. Well, it's so difficult to decide from one test drive. I think it's a toss-up between this and the Vauxhall Astra. What do you think, Liz?
Well, why don't you ask them if they can do a deal?
Oh, this is a strange dealership. Fancy dress. Ah, I see. Liz has come as one of the girls from Sheila's Wheels. I want the big one out the front, all leathered up. It's not the first time I've said that.
I'm not in fancy dress, actually. I'm a proper judge.
Oh, can you get me a super injunction?
What have you done?
Oh, practically everything.
Well, as you can see from the footage from the speed camera, it's a black Daimler with bulletproof glass, registration plate HRH1. So if you can decide which of the two of you was driving, you'll be saving yourself a lot of time and indeed trouble. We've also got your husband's hard drive, madam. Yeah.
I thought I'd got the safeguards on. Must have forgotten.
Did they find anything on the computer, ma'am?
Well, actually, it was rather sweet. 6,000 images of Pippa Middleton. But if you'll excuse me, I've just got to go and do a bit of moonlighting. Shouldn't take a minute. Yes. Are you paying too much for your car insurance? Have you seen what's going on over there? Yes. They're trying to fit me up for a crime I never did. Yes. Speeding and looking at the posterior of a very attractive young lady. I don't get it. Since when has that been a crime? They can't bang you up for that, can they? Oh, perhaps they can. I've done nothing. If you want to arrest someone for a crime, get Princess Beatrice for that hat she wore at the royal wedding. It looked like a mutant curly-whirly. Brown, fuzzy filth, yes.
Now, so, Philip, Louis, Stavros, Mountbatten, Windsor, you are charged on 365 counts of endangering wildlife and 18 of impersonating a policeman with an Indian accent. How do you plead?
Oh, piss off.
Well done. Why has strike action been called, by the way?
The reason this is to do with the pensions.
It's to pensions, yes.
Apparently, 1 in 5 people alive today are going to live to 100. That's how bad this situation is. 1 in 5 people. Like, you think, I'm not happy about that at all. And you think, I'm in my late 30s and I already fart when I cough, so I'm not... I'm not happy about that.
I'm very grateful you've not got a tickly throat at the moment.
In other news, what has been discovered this week about man flu?
It exists, apparently.
It does exist. In what way does it exist?
In the way that...
I just know...
Never mind, she's on her period.
You can clap, she's just coughed and I've still got to sit here.
No, apparently man flu does exist. Apparently women are better at fighting off the viruses because we've got stronger sex hormones. That's official. It's official.
No, stronger immune systems. I'm not sure if that's... This is quite the same thing.
Confusing me, Grazia magazine, sorry.
We've got so much more to do as well, women. There's the cooking, the cleaning and everything. We can't be going down with the flu. Let's go do the dinner.
Yes, you actually, women just don't get as many colds as men do. It's the same effect when you do, but they just don't get as many colds because their immune system is much stronger.
Basically, we're just better. That's really what... I mean, it's quite a long article, but they could have just written it in one line, just women are better. That would have been it, I think. That would have been...
I'd like to answer
Bill's
this...
not even on my side there, that's it.
The problem for men, essentially, is that when you are ill, no one believes that you are. So there's a whole opportunity for the drugs industry. You need drugs that make you look iller. You know what? Lemsip Max increases the symptoms of flu.
So they live 5 years longer on average.
Women do live 5 years longer, and they get to stop work 5 years earlier as well. Yeah. Which is the thing.
Not for long.
You'd be laying in a coffin and she's like, he ain't really dead. He's just putting it on. Look at him laying in there, all pasty and dead. Because I mentioned the garden shed needed mending.
Was your grandfather's funeral particularly traumatic?
Yeah, we couldn't get out the chair.
Who's the real power broker? Who's the kingmaker in parking in this country?
Is it NCP?
No, it's not NCP. Who's the one single individual who wields more power over parking in this country than anyone else?
Boris Johnson.
No. It is, according to Parking Review, it's Hugh Dennis.
Yeah.
This magazine, which was sent to me anonymously, Parking features 10 separate photographs of Hugh Dennis on its pages at the moment.
Yeah, I did the National Parking Awards.
Who wins a National Parking Award?
They did Best Multi-Story. That was in there. Have you not done the National Parking Awards?
I've not done the National Parking Awards, and I didn't know that this was a bonus of it. I'm going to seek out the National Parking Awards.
So, sorry, when you say parking, do you mean, like, in a car, reversing into a slot? Yeah, is that your talk? Right, OK.
Yeah. They had awards, and Hugh handed them out.
I handed them out, yeah. Well, I gave them all tickets, to be honest.
I get a feeling Hugh's not enjoying this.
Shorty. Seplatter. Why have mother-in-laws been in the news this week?
A woman wrote a letter saying that her daughter-in-law was uncouth.